Moulding the Future Digital Economy.
Hello and welcome back to AIBC Summit Now, and this discussion is talking about moulding the future of the digital economy. I have a great set of guests with me here. I have Joshua joining me, Dana, and also Stephen joining me on the line. So it's great to have all of you here, and I do want to jump straight in because we've got 20 minutes in what could be a very long discussion. And I'd love to start with you, Dana, and just go around and ask each of you what really you're doing when it comes to working with the future of the digital economy and when it comes to the future of innovation as well.
Hi, Jess. Thank you for this question. Basically, I'm the CEO of Tech.mt, which is an entity founded to promote the technology sector here in Malta. It's been founded between the government and the private sector. So this is a very important mandate because you have the government pushing government policy and the private sector telling us where we should focus our efforts. And at the moment, we are focusing our efforts on growth, internal growth of the sector and attracting foreign direct investment, including creating an ecosystem which provides venture capital for technology companies, an ecosystem which is regulated in a healthy way, so we instill trust in our sector. And also, we have an array of institutions which are here, which have an open door policy, and our main aim is to make things easier for anyone who would like to invest in Malta, to blend within the culture and have their investment, see their investment be successful here on our island.
Very interesting, thank you. And we'll touch on foreign investment later on in the panel. Joshua, I'd love for you to give a brief summary of the work that you're working on as well.
Yep, so I'm the chair of the Malta Digital Innovation Authority, and really what we're doing is regulating technology, in inverted commas actually, because we're not stifling technology. What we're doing is we're providing an assurance framework where the different operators can guarantee their different consumers that they're actually implementing and that their technology does what it's supposed to do. And that's very important because when we're talking about blockchain systems, often if you release smart contracts or other code, if it has a bug, that bug could be there forever and it could lose millions of euros of losses. And we're seeing instances like that every day. And we're moving on to artificial intelligence, where around the world there's a lot of misconception that artificial intelligence will take over the world, and there's a lot of fear-mongering out there. So what we're trying to do is also remove that fear-mongering, not only from the aspect of let's deal with reality, but let's make sure that we're providing technology out there that actually does what it's supposed to do on the box. Now, we started with an onerous framework, which really requires quite some investment to undergo this audit. And we noticed that it would be ideal if startups, smaller companies also fit into this. So we've announced the sandbox where we've undergone a consultation period, and we're about to announce that sandbox publicly where smaller startups can get these levels of assurances. And we're working with other entities like Tech.mt to get this awareness out there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that. So we've got Dana and Joshua, our Malta representatives, and Stephen, you're a little bit further afield. So can you tell our viewers what you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, I'm a little further afield, but I have a foot in both camps, I think. So I've started 11 companies. We've taken 3 public in the United States. And one of the first companies I did in '96 went on to become PayPal. So I understood the payment mechanisms very well. And when blockchain started, we looked at something we tried to do about 20 years ago around building a digital currency, but not a cryptocurrency. We wanted a settlement engine for B2B transactions, a way to speed up settlement between big companies because you can't do multi-million-dollar transactions on the credit card network. And so we not only looked at blockchain, we looked around the world and have been fortunate to work with Malta for a couple of years ago and created something I called the 5 Pillars of Malta. And we picked Malta as our jurisdiction because as much as Joshua and all these guys say regulatory framework, I call it a framework of innovation. So we were super excited with what the government created around this kind of framework of innovation that allowed us to not only fit within that and have stability, but add more credibility on a global basis. So we've been extremely excited about what's going on in Malta, and then the industry, obviously, in the last 2 years has moved very quickly.
And I think it will continue to do so. I think 2020 has been an excellent example of what we have seen for acceleration of online digital conferences like we're doing here, and other elements. Joshua, you touched on something interesting there, which was actually combating this, maybe this kind of urban myth that AI is actually a threat to a lot of modern jobs. So what do you think is one of the main challenges for this moulding of this digital economy, which is what we're talking about today?
Yep, so there's a number of different challenges we need to overcome. One is education, reskilling and upskilling. Most people out there do not know what AI is, and in order to embrace that technology, I think people will need to be more aware of it. And then also, as more jobs become available in AI, potentially we will be taking away some other types of jobs. And that's where we need to reskill. We need to make sure that our economy is resistant against changing directions of the sector. So besides the education aspects, we also need to make sure that we're implementing this technology throughout Malta. The only way to really immerse yourself in technology is to start using it. And this is another thing that we're trying to focus on now. Where can we digitize different emerging technology to allow for the population to get their hands dirty with the technology? And that being said, over time we hope that the technology is actually in the background, that we stop hearing about blockchain AI. People don't care about the technology. People just want to get on with their everyday lives. And that's when technology becomes success, when we're no longer talking about the internet, we're just using the internet.
And it's very interesting, and I'll get to each of you separately in a second, but Joshua, just a final question. When it comes to what we're looking at with integration, you said Malta's a very good sandbox. Are you able to give our viewers an example of maybe some technology integration that we might have already seen, that we might not be aware of yet, but someone like you with your foot in the door might be able to educate us a little bit?
That's right. So when we think about education and how we can tailor education for different students' learning capabilities, in Malta there's a pilot project on using artificial intelligence to understand the different learning capabilities and progress of students and tailor that learning for them. Besides that, Malta, being a very small island, is a place where we can get technology out there very quickly and get results back very quickly. Now, around the world, there's a big problem in creating data sets for AI. So we end up having data sets that are very small and very biased towards a very small data set. Malta is a potentially good place to launch a data set that is representative of a whole island, or rather a large population. And then Malta could act as a test bed for testing out different AI applications. So we have both initiatives going towards getting this technology out there, where we hope that it would eventually be in the background, and also where we're promoting Malta as a technology innovation hub to develop your different technology.
Great. And Dana, you mentioned there that you are working with investors and you're really kind of bridging that gap and communicating with them. How has 2020 been when it comes to liaising with investors and people that are looking to invest in this digital economy field? Have you found any challenges, any benefits along the way that might have surprised you positively?
Well, the benefit that happened this year is that businesses have been looking for alternative means of finance, because obviously banks have become more stringent and traditional access to finance is not that suitable for tech companies, especially when you see business cases related to tech companies. Most of the time, the return on investment is not in the first years. So sometimes banks are a bit wary of risking handing out capital for these companies. So we had to become creative and find alternative means of finance and get it close to these businesses. And basically we have been putting investment together with potential startups and companies. Following to what Joshua was saying, we have been, as an island, we have the Malta Virtual Financial Assets Act, which has been in place for 2 years. We have seen also the European Union concluding the Digital Services Act now, which is also a certificate of trust to what we have been doing. Investors are very attracted to Malta because thanks to this act, we can provide a safe regulatory framework so that both investment and the products that are being produced can happen in a safe ecosystem. What I can say is that there is investment available out there. There are investors who still have an appetite to invest, and we have the right talent. We attract the right amount of companies that would like to test their products here in Malta, use us as a technology hub of choice. And these investors are also attracted to Malta because of our economy, because of our performance as a country. And at the moment, as Tech.mt, we are seeing that the technology sector's appetite to keep innovating and keep testing ideas is still there. This is one of the sectors in Malta, one of three, which has still experienced growth or stability in the past months. We have a very resilient sector when it comes to technology. And on the other hand, we have investors coming from all over the world, America and other continents, asking us to put them closer to these companies and obviously facilitate the connection. We are also trying to find a means of doing this also in a like either through sandboxes or through accelerators. So we're exploring a lot of other ways how to get investment closer to businesses. And I believe that is one of our strong points here. As Joshua said, we are a very agile country. We're very fast, we react very swiftly. And historically, we are predominantly inclined towards trade. So we're very open to trade. And that is something that fascinates me, for example. And in technology, differently maybe to what happened to other sectors, we can still say that we're experiencing a positive performance. And that is excellent for us.
Great, thank you. And now, Stephen, I would love to turn to you, because actually you mentioned earlier that you've got 11 companies that you're kind of integrated with and working on. And for CEOs and founders, there's quite a lot of responsibility to have this agility, as our other two panelists have mentioned, and also to be proactive when it comes to moving forward for this digital economy and digital innovation. So I'd love to ask you how this year has been for you, if there's been any things that you've observed that maybe any of our other kind of CEOs that are watching can also take away these bits of information when it comes to really moulding this future of online and also more tech advanced.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Jess. And to be clear, I don't have 11. I've started through my history 11. I can only drive one car at a time. So people always ask, oh, how do you do it? No, I have one car, MonetaPro. We have other cars. I have other people driving. But I'm going to try and wrap a couple things in. When I talked about the 5 pillars of Malta, one of the benefits with Malta is an entity also is in this conversation. It's an English-speaking country. And not only is it agile, anybody out there that's raising money is 3 simple words. Everything you need to know about raising money is capital follows customers. Almost invariably, the first question you get asked is, who's your customer? And Malta's got some interesting premonitions around trying to partner. Like if you've got an opportunity around AI, digital commerce, bank, finance, there's some really aggressive, innovative things you could potentially do with Malta and the government, which gives you a test customer that makes it easier for investors to follow. So as you look at this new digital economy coming out, the world is flat and global. It's also not in a negative way. It's primarily English speaking or English driven. And so there's some really unique opportunities for us. COVID kind of hurt us and helped us. In one respect, it slowed down the conversations. It slowed down the opportunities to be in Malta and Dubai and interact. But with what we do at MonetaPro, coming out of COVID, companies and countries are trying to accelerate trade. They're trying to remove that friction. And the technology we build helps remove that friction. So, finding companies and countries that you can partner with and looking in the future, that's where the opportunity was for us.
Fantastic. And now just on a kind of a proactive summary, because we are coming to the end of the discussion, I'd love just to get a 1-minute statement from each of you when it comes to this future step towards the future digital economy. One thing that maybe viewers can take away and advance as we move into 2021. Joshua, I'd love to start with you.
Yep. Let's take the challenges that COVID is bringing and turn those into opportunities. We have people ending up without jobs. We have spaces that are empty. We can utilize those to our advantage to become a digital innovation hub. And I'll just leave it there for now.
Fantastic. Short and sweet and very nicely put. Dana, what about yourself? Have you got anything to add?
What I would like to conclude about is continuing on what Stephen was saying is through our Virtual Financial Assets Act, we are also allowing the raising of capital. So this is another means of getting access to finance. This is quite a new niche that we are exploring, allowing companies to generate capital through tokenization and also trading publicly. And that is very interesting for us because we're very traditional when it comes to finance. And now we are literally showing that we're branching out towards other means that obviously facilitate trade and innovation. Because as everybody knows, innovation requires a lot of capital. And the more we facilitate the generation of capital for companies to survive, obviously our sector will be more successful.
And that's a very interesting point. And you don't necessarily have to be a technology organization to be able to go public as well.
Well, to qualify for the Virtual Financial Assets Act, you have to be trading in technology. So that is an act which governs the technology part.
Mm-hmm. And it's located in Malta as well, so if anyone wants to seek some more information, they can have a look online.
Yes, definitely. And they also can relate to Joshua and the Malta Digital Innovation Authority to get more information for that, because they are the regulators and they are responsible for this act. They also can guide everyone from the beginning till the end of the process, and literally we handhold customers and companies for their journey to be successful.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both for that. And Stephen, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'll wrap up kind of again both lanes. The VFA, the virtual financial asset, to me, coming out of the US, is technically what I call a direct public offering. So it's a very unique way to get accelerated liquidity, but you still needed that framework and that solidity around for investors to feel more comfortable. So super excited about that. But my 1-minute phrase, as Joshua said, people ask me, are you a blockchain company? And I look at them and I say, are you an internet company? And they kind of laugh. And blockchain to me is not an industry, it's the enabling technology. And so you don't have to fully understand technology. You just have to look at how technology implements it. It improves processes, it displaces processes, it creates efficiency. It's not the end result. The result is, what does the technology do to make things better, faster, smarter, stronger, safer? And that's really what I want to leave with, is anybody can understand technology if they know what it does, not how it works.
Fantastic. Well, three of you, it was a fantastic discussion. Thank you all so much for your insights today. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot along the way. So thank you all so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.